Ladies and gentlemen, this promises to be a very excellent match between two top caliber volleyball teams. Even the referee, Ibu Sika, is all excited, thinks that this is going to be a good match. It's the Cougars 1 in orange, taking on the Sonics in blue. Cougars won the coin toss. This game's late starting. Glad you could join us. Dan Hobson with the call and the TV1 crew, and we are underway. A big swing there by Smith. And it's going to be a net violation against the Sonics. And the Cougars get the point. McNutt, Young, Martin, McEachran, Van Wart, and Hovey, the starters here for the Cougars. In between Rogers and Kennedy. Service ace. 2-0. Starters for the Sonics, Samantha Smith, Haydar, Rogers, Kennedy, Taylor, and Powell. Once again, a couple of teammates almost get together there for the Sonics. There's a big swing there by Smith. And scores the point as the cross-court shot goes for the Sonics, and they're on the board 2-1. Haydar now puts it up. Boy, that bottom fell out of it. Oh, coming over long distance there was Young. And the size advantage there of Powell. She uses it to come up and get over the Cougars block to get the point. Actually, they're going to say that it was out of bounds, so it's 3-1 there for the Sonics. My apologies on that one. Serve for Martin. It's on its way. It's a short one. This is set by Taylor. Smith once again, and it's handcuffed there by Martin. And it's 3-2. Sonics had an easy victory about an hour ago, 25-9 and 25-17 over the Fury. Cougars just had a tough one, a long one against the Heat. Speaking of Heat, Taylor sent the Heat well out of bounds and wide, 4-2 on that serve. Young will go back to serve here. Tell you, this Cougars team, they are a tough team because they just, as I said, just had a game. Smith with tick of the tape. And the Cougars keep it alive. Here's a free ball here for the Sonics. Goes cross court, tip with the left hand by Powell to get the point. 4-3. But the Cougars, as I'm finishing my point, a long game that they just had, just packed up their stuff and then pretty well had to practice, and that's the reason why this game is late at starting. Service ace, Samantha Smith makes it 4-4. And this is what we could expect in this one, a back and forth contest between the Sackville Sonics and the Truro Cougars as that goes long from Smith. Service ace, followed by a service error, 5-4. Here is McEachran. I have to wonder if this is any relation to Harvey McEachran, who coaches the CEC Cougars men's team that has a lot of success here in the provincial province of Nova Scotia at Provincials. The attack is put into the net, 6-4. As I say, there wasn't really a lot of media time in between games because they had to just come here, drop their gear, and get ready. Nice passing there by the Sonics, punched into the net there by Kennedy. And it makes it 7-4. Brooks looking at the score. Says, let's play on. Of course, Derek Brooks, head coach, and also one of the big organizers of the Sackville Sonics. Gilles Boudreau, the coach here for the Cougars, won. Sonics just get it over. Here's a free ball. And the idea there for Hovey, but not enough height. And I think she would have liked to maybe get up a little above the net there as she punches it in the net. 7-5, Powell serving. Her serve is up. Van Wart the first touch. McNutt. Hovey was going for it as well as Martin, and none of them got it. 7-6 as it lands in between them. Communication really important here, and there was a lack of there for the Cougars. A chance to tie here for Powell. And does right on the line. A little bit of a fist pump there from Brooks afterwards, the coach here of the Sonics. You can sort of see she's eyeing that side of the court here. Let's see if she goes there once again. Powell will go up the middle. Overhit. And it's sent right back there by Kennedy. Cougars in transition, and they just get it down as Powell not there in time. Cougars gave the free ball, and the Sonics couldn't take advantage of it. It's 8-7 as Van Wart will get her first serve of the match. Puts it up, goes to the back, deep there for Rogers. First set there by Taylor, and Powell mistimed it, punched into the net. 9-7. Brooks giving some encouragement here to Powell. It's an overhit. Actually set back over, a nice little idea. Cougars take off. No touch as it goes towards the back, and it's Martin too much. Martin on that one, but big swing nonetheless. 9-8. Here is Rogers. Can the Cougars get that third pass going? No, they were set towards the back. The first one, you can see the all importance of a first pass if it goes your way. And for the Cougars, it was doomed from the get-go, so we are tied at 9 apiece. A chance here for the Sonics to take the lead once again. And it goes long. Gilles Boudreau telling them to let it go, and a smart call there by the coach, right in the ear of the players. Hovey, who was getting some medical attention before the game, she's okay, good to go. Serving now here for the Cougars. There's the third hit, and it's an overhit and goes well out of bounds, and doesn't even really go over the net if it was inbound, so another point for the Cougars, 11-9. You just got to wonder, of course, she spent some time there at the trainer's table down courtside, if she had enough reps there or warm-up after that long game. Set by McNutt. Take it off was Young. Sonics in transition. They'll set it over. Here's the free ball. Set by McNutt. And the attack snuffed out as Young didn't get much on it. Speaking of the attack, there's a Sonics attack that's tight towards the net. Hits the antenna, and the Sonics will get the point on the best rally of the game so far. 11-10. And a chance here for Kennedy to tie it up here. And right into the net. Not what was on the menu here this afternoon here for Kennedy and the rest of the Sonics. The 2-point lead as McNutt will go back to serve here. Float serve on its way. First touch, Rogers. There's the set. Sent over. Van Wart right there. Tight towards the net. They'll just send it over. Nice play there by McEachran. Big swing by Smith. Was there a touch? Yes, there was as it goes out of bounds. Meantime, Gilles Boudreau saying that was my fault. I should have said don't touch it or get off the net because that was big heat coming there. 12-11. Haydar, Tatiana Haydar will put it up. First touch, Martin. Coming a long way there was McNutt for the set. Finished there by McEachran. Sonics right there, quick set. Trying to dunk it over to find some room there. It worked. That quick set, and Powell, she did find room. The Cougars did generate something, but not enough. And our first quick set here so far on this court here, the under 15s. A couple of Cougars converge on that one. Now they got to get it over, and they do. Here's a free ball. Cougars get back on defense. Big swing, out of bounds. And they're calling for a tip, and there is one. So Sonics will take the lead, 13-12. Two tips by the Cougars. That's been the difference here so far on the attacks from the Sonics. 1 point lead now. Martin. And McEachran and McNutt get there and watch the ball bounce in between them. Can't generate a second pass. Sonics 2-point lead, 14-12. Haydar, who has a tricky serve, and has given the Cougars a little bit of fits here. That's an overhit. Knocked right back down. Taylor says, in your face. The overhit dunks it down, 15-12. Ball back up again, and once again, Van Wart fooled by the Haydar serve. She did this in the previous game. Gilles Boudreau wanting to put an end to this momentum that the Sonics have. We've had a little bit of a back and forth contest. Now they're on a little bit of a run, and they need to be stopped. We'll call his first of 2 timeouts. Best 2 sets out of 3, and right now the Sonics, after a little bit of a slow start in this one, sort of found their game here. And for the Cougars, you got to wonder where the fatigue factor is. I'm not sure who was on the third set of their game on court 4 that they just finished before the start of this one. So you got to wonder where they are in terms of energy level. In the meantime, the Sackville Sonics had an easy time putting their opponent away in the previous game, the Fury. It only took them 34 minutes, and the other one took it well over a little bit of an hour there for the Cougars. So that's what the Cougars are facing here. Maybe the Sonics may be a little bit more fresh, but we'll have to wait and see. Larson, tune in, all the people tuning in for Truro, we say hello to them as well, Sackville, or wherever you're watching here across the World Wide Web on Volleyball Nova Scotia website. Dan Hobson along for the call. Our producer is Drew DeMocus, and we're delighted to be here once again. Day number 1 here, the second weekend of the Provincial Championships. Of course, we had the under-14s last weekend, and this weekend we're wrapping everything up with the under-15 and also the boys as well. So delighted you could join us wherever you're watching here. Hope the weather's nice. It was funny, last week we were worrying more about flurries, and today we're into the 20s. It's just amazing how what 7 days could be. Sunshine and temperatures right close to 20 as opposed to being about +3 in flurry last week. Nice strike there by Young, but the Sonics well back. Smith! And maybe Van Wart wanted to let that go, and she points to her chest afterward to say, my bad, my fault. But you can see that Samantha Smith has some big swing. It's been a little bit of a story too, as well as Haydar back serving again. Nice set there by McNutt. Van Wart sends it to the back. Set there by Taylor. Ticks the net there on the potential attack there by Leanne Rogers as it goes out of bounds. It was tough for her. And really not much room for her to react. She's a left-hander. That's right hand. That's a good shot for her left hand. Not really much room for error, and she did error on that one. 17-13. Smith again will just tip it and dunk it in for the point. Cougars won right there, had the wall set up, and Smith said, sometimes you just got to take what the defense gives me, so that's what I will do, and dunk it in for the point, and an 18-13 lead. Speaking of 13, Taylor's back serving here for the Sonics. That's an overhit. Van Wart off the block, kept alive. Big dive there by Taylor. Smith once again trying to go, once again dunk it over. Big hit there by Young over the block. Smith once again takes off, and point for the Cougars as it goes long. Brooks hoping for a tip, none forthcoming. Ibu Sika says no tip. So it's a 18-14 game. There's an underhand serve. And a quick response there by Rogers. Smith trying to reverse it. Tipped over. Sonics will push it over, trying to find a hole. Unsuccessful. Cougars close it down. Van Wart into the net. She's got some hops, Van Wart. But didn't get up high enough and put it into the net. It's a 5-point lead now. Samantha Smith. She's been a key player here for the Sonics here in this game. Van Wart will just get it over. Here's another free ball here for the Sonics. They'll set up the left hand. Dug there by the Cougars and into the scoring pitch. But once again, Smith with the left hand down the middle. And it's time to maybe get on the phone and call Kenny Loggins. The Cougars are in danger zone, 20-14. Substitution on its way here as Bailey will come in to relieve Van Wart. So Boudreau wanting to talk to Van Wart. And in the meantime, difficulty there for Young on the serve. 21-14. Sounds like a football score on a Friday afternoon, but it's a volleyball one. The Sonics up again. Let's see if they go after Bailey. No, they're going once again after Young. Hovey gets it over the block there. Once again, big beat, Kennedy scoring the big shot. Goes cross court, 22-14. Ball right down the middle, Cougars converge. Hovey over the block. And the tip just sent over there by Powell the rest of the way. Cougars have to send it over. Here's a free ball. Once again, Powell trying to find the hole. Bailey fresh off the bench. Bailey over the block. Best rally here so far of the game. Smith finds the hole. How did she get through that wall? Cougars there. She found the opening. Score 23-14. A close game has been turning into a rout now. 9-point lead. 2 away from victory are the Sonics. And Young difficulty. Again. Boudreau is weathering this out. It's a 10-point lead. Set point. Sonics. There it is. Van Wart back in for Bailey. Hovey just gonna send it over. Nice dig by Taylor. Smith once again, or Kennedy, pardon me, right into the net. Kennedy along the wing as well as Smith. They have coming up with kills here in this first set. Another substitution. Boudreau coming in here. And will relieve McEachern, so you can see the importance of this one as Boudreau makes his second substitution here of the first set. Hoping for some magic from the service line from Boudreau. 24-15, and that's not going to be, that's going to be a 25-15 win here for the Sonics in the first set. Well, it started off good. Teams going back and forth for a bit, but then almost just like their last game against the Fury, once Tatiana Haydar got to the service line, Cougars just didn't have an answer. Really hard to generate anything in terms of scoring chances. The first pass was failing them, so hoping maybe to switch things up here in the second set. And that's what's so great about the best 2 out of 3 sets is all of a sudden now, compared to, of course, Atlantic University Sport, ACAA volleyball, the room for error is just not there. You're down a set, and now all of a sudden you have to win this set to keep the match going. That's what the Cougars have to face here. And the thing is that they still have some great weapons at their disposal here, the Sonics, because we did not see Madison Slodwhite, Elizabeth Smith. She's got a left hand. You got big shots from her. Gracie Weir and Mahadson and Stanhope. They were actually in the first set of their game against the Fury, and they had pretty well their way with the Fury in that one. So, I mean, the Cougars know that that is a tough task that's coming here in the second set here. So, Gilles Boudreau did try to make some, of course, changes and adjustments and see what he's got here in store here in the second set. And the thing that I think the Sonics are really maybe a little bit of a benefactor here in this game for them was a little bit of a rest, because it only took them 34 minutes to dispatch of the Fury. So, of course, if you're on social media, anything like that, you could use the hashtag NSChamps. That's capital N, capital S, and capital C, and then HAMPS if you want to talk about these championships. And, of course, for all the players that may be watching here or maybe playing a little bit later on here at these, feel free to take some selfies, some pictures, and post them on Facebook and Twitter and all that, Instagram, and use the hashtag NSChamps as the players are coming back to the court here for set number 2. Martin as well as Young and McNutt, Van Wart, Hovey, and McEachern for the Cougars. Let's see what the lineup is going to be. They will go with Samantha Smith, number 1, Mahadzik, number 11, Taylor back out there, Elizabeth Smith, keep an eye on her, Powell, and back to serve Gracie Weir for the Sonics. And they got a deep bullpen and a deep bench. Some of these players could be like starters for other teams. Handcuff player by Van Wart. Cougars get together, just get it over. There's the set, the big hole, and long there by Smith as she was a little bit anxious. The Cougars were in scramble mode. It was not looking good for them. And the Sonics had a chance to dunk, but they decided to go for the big attack. And it was unsuccessful. And speaking of unsuccessful, the serve goes into the net, ties things at 1. Mahadzik. Anna Mahadzik there. She had a pretty good first game against the Fury, back serving. Van Wart with the first touch. Boy, you gotta like the hops there, Young. May not be a tall player, but boy, she can get up. Leg strength she has. Now they'll try to set her up once again. Now they'll actually go to Martin, who's got big hit, and off the heads of Mahadzik and to the seating area in the back to score a point, 2-1. That's the thing, if you get that second hitter there, of course, we've seen Young with some great hits. Martin there, a big one. Can the Sonics get there? No, they can't. They were a little bit scrambly and things didn't look pretty from the get-go. It's 3-1. Martin open to make it a 3-point game, but that's not going to do it. It's going to make it a 1-point game, 3-2. You see how service errors can sometimes hurt you in this sport. As we take a look at Sarah Taylor. Handcuff there, Martin, no answer, tie it at 3. Just couldn't get the hand position she wanted on that one. Big point up for grabs early here in the second set. Cougars had a good idea. McEachern tried to tip it over. There's the left hand, and it's long, no tip. Elizabeth Smith, she could bring the heat. Brought too much of it that time as it went to the back. And out, 4-3. Young decides to go underhand with it. The first touch there by Hadzik. And the tip over there by Samantha Smith. Cougars read it well. Van Wart over the block. And that's dug there by Weir. Chance once again for Smith, and she goes long again to the back. 5-3. Brooks just yelling out some instructions. Oh, there's a shake there by Young. That's the way it's been for the Cougars. They try to get some momentum, and then they sort of put their own fire out. 5-4 now. As Samantha Smith will head back to serve here for the Sonics. Right into the net. Actually, I think it might have hit Powell in the process. You sort of like to see the players put their hands behind their back and on their head to protect them on those serves like that. You'll even see it in the Men's World League like to see it sort of done here. Ball from McEachran is up. The first touch, Mahadzik. Quick set. Taken off from the back there was Weir. Cougars put it out. Hovey and gets it over the block. Dug out by Mahadzik. Big play by her. Battle along the net, and Hovey wins that one. But she's going to be called for being on the net. A little bit of mix-up there for the players. Cougars scored the point, but originally Hovey was called for being on the net, and that will be the case. 6-5, a chance to tie it up for Powell. Young, McEachran, Hovey ticks the tape. Sonics look like they'll have to give up a free ball here, and they do. Here's a free ball in return as they trade frees here. Canada Game Center. Was there a tip? No. To the back again. The attack's going along here for the Sonics. 7-5. As this game gives gray hairs to Gilles Boudreau, head coach of the Cougars, 1. Served by Van Wart. First touch, Powell. Quick set. Try to punch it over. Mahadzik. Well read by the Cougars. And into the tape and the net there, Martin. Just not the best second pass, and by the time she took off, the height just wasn't there. 7-6. Big point up for grabs, and the left hand of Elizabeth Smith fails her now. Wrong time for that to happen. 8-6 into the net. Javi had that big block, but unfortunately was on the net here. Serving now for the Cougars. 2-point game, 8-6. And deep. Powell looked at it. Coach's call. Derek Brooks made it. 8-7. Hovey, handcuffed. Didn't know what to do. Tied at 8. Or tied at 8, whichever you want to use, whatever term you want to classify. Or at 8 all. Van Wart, handcuffed, gets out of harm's way. Cougars give up the free ball. Set, that's tight towards the net. Big finish there by Mahadzik down the pipe. 9-8, Sonics take the lead. They've been knocking on the door, and they finally kicked it in on that play. And they continue to put the pressure on. McEachran handcuffed. Unable to get the hands in a good position. 10-8. Gilles Boudreau, what you saying? Brooks looking at the score. Still no timeout for the Cougars. Van Wart overhit. Sonics licking their chops. Smith. Van Wart digs it out. Young there manages to get it over Mahadzik. Mahadzik again. This time the Cougars right there. Long rallies here, this one. And it was going to be too many hits there. 4 hits would have been the call, and 4 hits it is. 11-8. Cougars trailing. Lost the first set, 25-15. Serve from Weir on its way. Van Wart. Rock, hard place. Point for the Sonics. Weir is giving them fits here. This Cougar team. First pass, not a good one again. And once again, difficulty, McEachran this time. Gracie Weir not afraid to pick on any of these Cougars, whether it's Van Hoort or whether McEachran. So far, she stayed up the middle. Let's see where this one goes. Once again, up the middle. Better passing here by the Cougars. Oh, but a miss hit there by McEachran. They're actually generating something, but would have been a free ball, but Gilles Boudreau, seeing that this is starting to get away, down by 6 now, calls a timeout. 14-8. As he talks to his team, he's trying to get their arms and hands in better position to try to generate passing. You can just see that in the timeout there. It's in the little bottom portion of your screen. Michelle Caldwell, assistant coach, looking on here for the Cougars. And in the meantime, Derek Brooks right now is just in the middle talking to everything, and he must be pretty happy with the way that the Sonics have played, of course. There have not been much in errors. They actually have cleaned up in the service errors from their previous game against the Fury and this one. They haven't really gotten too many. They had about 5 or 6 in the game against the Fury. That was just before this one, so they have cleaned that up, and Cougars really have to start generating some passing. If you're giving free balls to the Sonics, you know, that's just like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and they just put a whole fresh load of food out there. That's what they want. So they got to get the passing in, better improve it quickly. But of course, sometimes you do this, you come back after the timeout, service errors sometimes happen, and that was the case here in point as Weir went long with that one. 14-9. McNutt puts it up. Backpedaling there was McKinsey. Pardon me, was Elizabeth Smith. $15-9 the score. Cougars will get the ball. There's a lot of confusion on the floor there, so 14-10 it is. Ooh. Sonics are hoping, and the Sonics are probably thinking we should have let that go because that was about a good 1 to 2 feet out of bounds. And they played it, and it cost them a point, 14-11. Powell, first contact. Smith once again goes long. She's had some difficulty. They look for a touch, but Ibu Sika says no. No touch. 14-12. That's a set that's tight. And Smith had to backtrack, but once again, that first pass too close. 4 hits being called. Derek Brooks disgusted as he calls timeout. 14-13. They had a big lead, and that has gone by the wayside. Both teams have 1 timeout left here. As I say, talking to some of the people before the game, they said this was going to be a dandy, and here we are. Cougars now, of course, they lost that first set by 10, but they're in this one, just trailing by 1, feeling a little bit of momentum, and Brooks wants to put a halt to it. You got to wonder here for Brooks, it's just a matter of probably getting the girls a little bit focused here. They've lost focus here, and still talking to the girls after the timeout is the veteran coach, the multiple ACAA champion, head coach, Mount St. Vincent University Mystics. And he's had some great players play for him. Christina Day, Sydney Foy. As that one goes long, so just almost like deja vu all over again. Out of the timeout, the serve goes long for both teams here so far. Fine in the hole. Gracie Weir, 16-13. Substitution on its way as Madison Slonwhite will come in. Slonwhite will come in here for Powell. Be a little bit of a better setter here on this team, as well as she's good for serving here. So Cougars big point, jump serve from her. Cougars in transition, tight towards the net. Powell will knock it down and back. Hits off her arm. Powell with quick reaction. Here's a free ball here for the Cougars. The Cougars passing a little bit better. And they'll hit it over the wall. There was Martin. Double hit called on the play there by the Cougars. 17-13. Jill Boudreau takes a drink. Young comes over. Tight towards the net. And right down with the stuff. Powell. Used the size advantage there. Hands over the net. Didn't touch the net. And put it right back down. Misread by Van Ward, and right down the middle it goes. So Slotwhite continuing to be very successful from the service line. She was in their game against the Fury, and Brooks going to the bench here, and as a result, it's a 6-point game, 19-13. Another jump went on its way. First contact, Martin. McEachern will hit it over the wall. There's the set. Powell tight towards the net and punched into the net. 19-14. Martin trying to keep this game from getting into the red zone for them. But it's Smith and down. Hovey was there in the neighborhood, but unable to keep it off the floor of the Canada Game Center, 20-14. So it is red zone now here as Taylor's serve is on its way. Not a good first pass there for the Cougars. Can Young keep it alive? No, she can't. She was getting right close to that line as well as the scoring table, 21-14. Jill Boudreau calls timeout here. Has a little bit of a reaction. He goes, woo, you might have heard it picked up on our microphone here at the Canada Game Center. Sonics, of course, they could taste victory. It's 4 points away. They can see the finish line, and they're just coming around the corner. Whether you want to use it as a harness racing or a track and field term, pretty well fits both there. And this is the thing, is they've got so many weapons. It's like, as I say, you go from second string to first string. It's really not much of a loss here for the Sonic team. And the thing is that, you know, Derek Brooks is a perfectionist. Is that he really, you know, wants to put a lot of time and wants to teach. I mean, there's been some times that even though the Sonics score the point, he's still teaching, he's still showing, knowing that there still can be improvements to be made. Taking a look at court 5, and I can see the provincial champions from last year in the under 18, the Tigers team. They are affiliated with the Dalhousie Tigers. Of course, one of the head coaches is one of Rick Scott's assistants there. Looking on. In the meantime, back to this one, 22-14. Sarah Taylor finds the middle, and now they're just 2 away. Boudreau will come in. A substitution being made as Young will come out. Boudreau in, Young out. Trying to get a little bit of spirit, a little bit of energy as Boudreau's intense. Off of Martin, so here it is. Match set point. Sonics. They won by 10 in the first set. They're hoping to win by 11 here, as Taylor has a chance to turn out the lights and make the party over. Boudreau just gets over. Here's a free ball. Set there by Taylor. Smith finds the hole, scores the point, 25-14. Expecting a close matchup between the teams. It didn't materialize. Sonics took the first set 25-15, and they take the second set 25-14. but the score is not really any indication of how well the team has played. These teams have played, but the Sonics were just a little bit fresher. They were a little bit more than the Cougars could handle, and there were not. And when you gave the Sonics free balls, they took advantage of it, and those were some big shoots there by the Sonics, big swings out of them. And they sailed their way to an easy victory. So they went 2-0 here in back-to-back games, easily beating the Fury and easily beating the Cougars. Cougars gave them a little bit more of a test than the Fury here. And for the Cougars, that was a tough one to go from one court right to the other. In the meantime, the Sonics were just sitting here waiting and easily disposing of the Fury previously. So Derek Brooks shakes hands with the referee, of course, Ibu Saka. So we're going to wrap things up here. Of course, the Sonics defeated the Cougars by 2-0, 25-15, 25-14. So for the entire Bell 5 TV1 crew, my name's Dan Hobson. Thank you for tuning in. Coming up next, continuing coverage here at 6:30, maybe a little bit of a later starting time than that, the Smash and the Crossfire. Thanks for tuning in. So long from Halifax.